driving to Pensacola Beach, say on Fort Pickens Road. We're not 30A people, so we go down Fort Pickens Road. But on the way, I'll ask the question: if we won the lottery, what would you spend it on? What would you want? Well, first of all, I would actually buy a house at Pensacola Beach, and I would do the show from Pensacola Beach. But where would you invest it money? Now, the preacher man is in, so he's going to tell you that it's okay if you give 10% of your winnings on a lottery to the church, that would be okay because they always need a new building or something, new carpet, whatever it may be. But I thought about what would I spend that money on sports-wise. So I want to know if you played the lottery and won, what would you spend your money on sports-wise? And keeping with that theme, do you watch sports with your spouse or significant other? I want you to text Preacher Man at 888-993-7762. That is the Origin Bank text line, or call in. Same number. Only one number you have to remember, 888-993-7762. That is the Origin Bank hotline and text line. And you're a little under the weather today, cheer guy.
Yeah, we can call it that. Voice is just gone.
Too much cheering?
No, we didn't do anything this week, so just woke up yesterday, went to work out. Man, I can't even do it. Went to work out with you, and here's where we're at.
Yeah, the cheer guy is now one of the newest members of All Hours Fitness. Workout when you want to. We did a little chest and back at the gym yesterday, and so look forward to working out with the cheer guy and the preacher man, who is the absolute strongest person. Second, third, he's in the top 5. Okay, top 10 at the gym. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I got to do a lot of core work though. Oh man.
You know, okay, I'm
the,
glad
the belly is bad.
I'm glad you brought that up and you looked at cheer
As
guy.
I bring in donuts.
You know, it's crazy. You just said the belly is bad, but you looked at cheer guy and I when you said that. Okay, we get it. So
that was it. It was empathy. I know y'all get it.
I was driving in this morning and to do the show. And I will tell you that, look, if you're a pixie stick and you have abs, we know there's no reason to take your shirt off and make us all feel bad about ourselves. I'm sure a dermatologist would tell you to put your shirt on, worried about skin cancer. But I had like 5 guys that looked like they could be in the Olympics jogging down the street this morning with their shirt off. Put your shirt back on. You're making me feel bad.
Yeah, I saw those guys too and felt the same way. I was like, oh, come on, man. We're not there yet.
No, but we're going to be there as we work out. We'd love to hear from you this morning.
We're going to be there as we eat the Pilly Pluff and Daylight Donut.
Actually, yes, we are. The Pilly Fluff Delicious Daylight Donuts are in the studio. And is that a brisket burrito?
That is a brisket burrito.
You actually came through in the clutch. And with that, we go to the Origin Bank text line to Chuckopedia. Good morning, Chuck. How are you?
Good morning. You all can save me some of that brisket burrito as well. Yeah, that sounds good. I feel like eating something like that this morning. But yeah, I was just calling on a somber note. I found out that I saw on Facebook about the passing of Bama Jim. Our own Bama Jim. It's hard to believe that he's passed on. We all know he's a diehard Alabama football fan and a University of North Carolina men's basketball fan. By the way, I called. There was a sports talk radio show in Raleigh, North Carolina. Sports Shop with Reese and K-Mac. I listened to Errol Reese and Kevin McClendon, K-Mac, and their the lady that's on there with them, Pam Smith. I let them know she's a graduate from the University of North Carolina, and Reese is a graduate of Alabama A&M. His sister graduated from Alabama. But Reese and K-Mac, they're diehard Alabama football fans. I told them about Bama Jim's passing. I said, this guy loved Alabama football and University of North Carolina basketball. I told Pam, I said, she's a graduate of UNC Chapel Hill, and I think Reese got his master's from UNC Chapel Hill. He was a graduate of Alabama A&M where he played football. I said he would enjoy talking North Carolina basketball with him. But K-Mac is an Alabama football fan. But what happened? He's a Duke fan, and you know he has a lot. He comes with he says things about North Carolina. They go at each other, but Bama Jim would be missing. Also, I see that a legend has passed. Skip Bergman passed away at the age of 88, and when I saw it yesterday morning on my phone, I knew he had been ill. Last time I saw him when he spoke at legendary Southern University Baton Rouge coach Roger Cadar's funeral, held at the arena on Southern's campus. He spoke at him and Wilbert Ellis, the legendary coach at Grambling, spoke. And I could look at him and tell that he had been ill. And as he passed at 88, those guys know they knew how to build those programs. And I think about when he came, I think 1983, they were LSU was not a program no one thought of. LSU basketball was big with Dale Brown, and Coach Bergman came from Miami. He coached under Ron Frazier and winning those national championships. He was right-hand man, and he came in and built that. He came into LSU and built that program, and look at what happened. Look at what Alex Box Stadium did, how the crowds went up. But like I said, he will be missing. He became the athletic director. He can lay claim to Nick Saban being hired at LSU as well. I didn't even go a long time.
Hey, but you're great. I appreciate you bringing up Bama Jim. Chuck, you have a great weekend, and as always, we appreciate you calling in.
All right, you all take care, and I'm looking forward to a great football season. Y'all stay cool out here. By the way, I watched St. Thomas Aquinas and Cardinal Mooney out of Sarasota, Florida. And, St. Thomas Aquinas, a powerhouse out of Fort Lauderdale. Watched them on YouTube yesterday. It was a preseason game. And, man, St. Thomas Aquinas is just as athletic as always, but that would be my landing gear.
Hey, we certainly appreciate it. You have a great weekend, Chuck. All right, you can call just like Chuck did at 888-993-7762. That is the Origin Bank hotline and text line. It says Chuck brought that up just a few weeks ago. Bama Jim called in and said, hey, I'm coming in. I said, you know what, you're loud and clear. You're coming in clear. But no, actually made his way to the studio. Bama Jim, a long-time listener and caller to the Nick Brown Show and really all the shows here at Sports Talk 97.7. And I think the beauty of Bama Jim is he talked about his grandchildren, remember the Sparkle Cats. But I will tell you what he did. He would go through, and I would not post on social media because you want to be humble. I know that's in the book that you work from every week, and all of us should be working from. But I wouldn't tell you that RJ went, 4 for 5 with 2 home runs in Weston, Mississippi. I just say, hey, great to come here where my dad played. Bama Jim would call in and say, I saw what your boy did in Weston. That's good. I think the part about it, he went beyond and, always enjoyed his calls when he called in. Of course, a diehard Alabama football fan and traveled. That's familiar with Selma, Alabama. He was familiar with Jackson for those listening. I appreciate Steve each and every week. But he knew that, and he talked about Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. But just a character, and you had the opportunity last week. He actually walked to the studio from the hotel, and you were able to take him home.
Yeah, I was able to take him back to the hotel, and he always told me to do my job, and I said, okay, Bama Jim, you tell me to do my job, so I'm going to ask you, are you and God and, y'all in good shape? You got a relationship with Jesus? And he assured me everything was good. So I said, all right, well, I just wanted to make sure I did my job.
That, you know what, that is.
I'm just curious. When he came up here to see us, he knew, didn't he?
I think he did. I think because
I'm going to be in town, and this may be the last opportunity I get come by and see the boys at the radio station.
And he came in, and of course, I'm so glad that I made the video.
Yeah.
Made the video with him, and, he spoke to all of them. Remember, the beauty of it is he bragged about your arms. Did you hear it? If you go watch the video, he says, hey, preacher, man, you're getting
He does have some guns.
I'm glad he looked at my arms and not my gut. So.
Okay. And again, you look at us when you say that. You're horrible. You can't call a preacher man a horrible human being.
I sit here and eat this burrito.
I don't know. There have been some pretty...
Oh, that good one. We'd love to hear from you at 888.
Not saying he's Jim Jones or anything, but,
Wow. I was going to go with Swaggart and,
okay,
and Jim Baker.
Meet him halfway.
I was going to go PTL and Swaggart, but you went straight for, wow.
I don't know. I think I could come near, hanging out with the swag that the Swaggart and the boys brought versus living in the jungle with Jim. So
more of a Robert Tilton.
Okay, we've completely gone off the rails this morning, but we'd love for you to get us back focused. Listen to the Nick Brown Show, the Nick Brown Show Network. Our questions of the day today. If you won the lottery, someone in Illinois won the $1 billion Maybe he's going to give it to the Fighting Brett Bielemas and Champaign Urbana.
I doubt it.
I hope not.
What would you do with your money sports-wise? And when I ask you this morning, do you enjoy watching sports with your spouse or significant other? I'm going to refill my coffee cup because Cheer Guy got here early and made the coffee. You're listening to The Nick Brown Show on the Nick Brown Show Network. We'll be right back after this break.
This is Brandon Kraft, General Manager of Homes Plus. We want you to know that we take your overall experience with us very seriously. Whether it's helping you with financing, land work, or just simply making sure you're educated on everything that is ahead of you, this is the real reason of the plus in our name. So come by Highway 165 North in Monroe or visit us at homesplus.com and see why so many in South Arkansas and North Louisiana are choosing Homes Plus.
Get the plus. Homes Plus.
Provision Security. Preserving your past, protecting your future. Cameras, doorbell cameras, systems you can control all from your smartphone. Security systems with low monthly monitoring starting at $14.99. Provision Security is more than security. Sound systems, hanging your flat screen TV, speakers in your ceiling, even Wi-Fi systems. Provision Security, 314 East Georgia in Ruston. Call Michael at 773-3703. Check him out on Facebook. Provision Security.
Has your yard work and summer fun already put your back and neck in a bind? Bending, lifting, twisting puts additional tension and pressure on your back and neck. Once your muscles and nerves become inflamed, you start to feel the pain and stiffness, and no matter how many over-the-counter medications you take, it just won't go away. Well, it's time to call Dr. Bob Rendina at Chiro Network in Ruston. Chiropractic treatments work to get your back and neck working properly again. Play it smart. Stretch before and after. And when you need a chiropractor, call Dr. Bob Rendina at Chiro Network in Ruston.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, you need the best team on your side. Priority Tax Relief has helped thousands of Americans resolve their IRS problems and settle for pennies on the dollar. As a leading tax resolution firm, we have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, hundreds of 5-star reviews, and a 4.9-star rating on Google because we deliver results and huge savings. If you owe $5,000 or more and even facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or IRS letters, call us today at 800-804-6085. Once you call, our tax professionals will call the IRS with you for free, and within minutes start negotiating a settlement. We'll put a stop to collections and fight to get you the best settlement possible. Choose the company Americans trust most. Call Priority Tax Relief now at 800-804-6085 to see what relief you qualify for. Don't wait. Make the call. Dial 800-804-6085. Once again, that's 800-804-6085.
Get in the game. Now, back to the Nick Brown Show.
Welcome back to the Nick Brown Show on the Nick Brown Show Network. Of course, we'll get a cease and desist letter.
Well, as long as we don't fool with Facebook Live, we're okay.
And now,
they're gonna kick us off.
That is the second time for Bama Jim we played.
Bama Jim.
there comes.
And then it followed really everyone. So, love to hear from you at 888-993-7762. That is the Origin Bank hotline. And
Did they
text
boot
line.
us off there, Cheer Guy?
Not yet.
Not yet.
So
We can do Dixieland Delight later.
I know that this past week in LSU, you had the whole Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow debacle over a jersey.
See,
number.
why's Burrow catching strays on this thing?
I will tell you why. And I think it's, if you look at it, you know, first of all, let's talk about what happened. I'll try to throw Brian Kelly under the bus because Brian Kelly was coaching. Jaden Daniels, number 5, has been issued to DJ Pickett, defensive back for LSU. Joe Burrow's number has never been issued to anyone. Joe Burrow did lead LSU to an undefeated season and a national championship. Jaden Daniels won the Heisman Trophy as well, but it was a 9-3 season, and he opted out of the bowl game. But DJ Pickett said that when he signed with LSU, that he was told he could wear number 5 by Brian Kelly. Interesting enough, Brian Kelly was the coach last year, and Pickett did not wear number 5. But now Lane Kiffin comes into Baton Rouge. Pickett asked for number 5, and he's given number 5, and the Daniels camp is upset about it. Because, now, I will tell you, we did a little research on LSU because Tabor always says, you hate Louisiana.
Somehow you've managed to stay here for 33 years. Congratulations,
Thank
by
you
the way.
very much. I appreciate that. Jay Ward, name you've never heard in LSU history, was a safety in 2022. And Terry Lance Welch was a cornerback in 2023 when Jaden Daniels was quarterbacking LSU. Both of those guys wore number 5. So I think you reach a compromise and no offensive player is going to wear number 5. But when you're in a defensive, because you have the multiple jerseys, you just can't be on the field at the same time, offense and defense. But there's no way that this doesn't make Daniels look petty. How do you get out of this situation?
Do you think it's actually Daniels, or do you think it's just lawyers?
Is it lawyers? And you had the don't use my name, image, likeness, return my Heisman Trophy, all of these. Now, I will tell you.
His quote-unquote team.
Yeah, it's never, like, he's never.
Can we get rid of these my team, this my team? How about just you stand on your own principle as an individual, as a man, as a woman?
And it's your name. Like,
Yeah. You can have a formal ceremony and retire a number. Nobody's worn 34 at Auburn since Bo Jackson.
From LSU's side of the ticket here, let's get away with this act of Congress to get a jersey retired, and just it's real simple. You win a Heisman Trophy, we're putting your jersey in the rafters.
And give them a statue next to Cannon outside.
Let's easy there, chair
But
guy.
I'm saying just
easy
do that.
there, chair
Say,
guy.
do that with your Heisman Trophy winners.
At Auburn, there are statues of Pat Dye, Suge Jordan, Bo Jackson, Cam Newton, Pat Sullivan, and I may be missing one. I don't know if they did one for George Petrie or not, the first football coach. So if there is, there's one for, and if you've been to the Plains in a while, Quint, not an Auburn show. I haven't been to Auburn. I'm not sure of all the statues, but I do know that Bo, Pat Sullivan, and Cam all have a
I think
statue.
it's fair. Pat Sullivan's kind of your Billy Cannon.
Yes, number 1, yes.
And Cam would basically be your Burrow.
Correct.
So, what would that make Bo? I mean, Bo's kind of his own.
Yes.
I think Bo's better than all of them.
Oh, no
Me
doubt
personally,
about it.
as a non-Auburn.
Yes.
So where's Jaden on the totem pole at LSU? I'm sorry, but you didn't go 15-0 win the Natty. You're never going to be Joe. And I don't think he's trying to be.
No, I don't think he is either.
And like I said, Burrow's sitting up there at training camp thinking, why am I catching all these strays? What have I got to do with this?
Hey, side note, Tennessee have any statues up?
Nayland is up. I don't know.
I'd say a Fulmer, but they're still working on it.
I think Nayland's up, and I think that's the only one.
Got it.
Yeah, I did.
I like what some schools do where I've seen them, the only numbers they have retired.
Wait a minute. Hold up. You lose 40 pounds and you're going to make a fat joke?
Absolutely. And I'll probably make it again.
But I like what some schools have done is like they retired numbers for guys that were killed in combat, World War II, Korea, Vietnam. Otherwise, they retire jerseys, and the number stays active, and they'll put the jersey up in the stadium. I don't
How many
know.
Heisman trophies winners have Tennessee had?
0. Biggest Rob, Peyton Manning. But we've had 5 runner-ups. But
Here's what I feel like. Somebody on his team, and many have their suspicion who, probably thought, hey, let's try to find a way legally to make money off of your image and likeness now that you've already left. You have the legalese conversation. package feelings are hurt because somebody else got that number, thinking, oh, that's gonna that'll ease the PR blow on a lawsuit. And now I think the pushback was not just a little worse than they intended, but 10 times worse than they intended. And simply, would you rather be right? Which I think probably the Daniels team has some technically legalistic whatever things that they're correct that LSU may want to adjust or meet them in the middle on, or would you rather just be happy?
Good points by Tabor this morning.
I
Love
don't
to
know
hear
if
from
I'd
you.
call them good points,
and
but
Their points made.
There's only a few players, and it's usually the fan base of that school that they see a number and they think of a certain player, and I don't understand if a number 5.
they're going to think of Daniels now, but it's never.
Right,
it's
right.
always he's always, and even if this gets settled up and washed away and Kumbaya sung and. LSU fans will forgive.
Daniels on it.
Guess what, pal? You're not going to make any of that
No.
money either.
Yeah, that's my point. Is like you're not going to make it. People aren't buying just number 5 if they're wanting to honor Jaden. They'd be number 5 with Daniels
That's why
on
LSU
it.
needs to sell jerseys that say number 5, cease and desist on the back of it.
Love to hear from you at 888-993-7762. That is the Origin Bank hotline and text line, and we're going to go to that text line. Preacher man, what do we have?
We got a few. Ben Carlisle, just glad, to know that Bama Jim was in a good spot with God, that they had a relationship. Jason said that if he won, he said my son's travel baseball team would have me by the Oscar Mayer, and
Sounds like they already do.
and we would use it as a team bus. We got one text that says my ex-wife used to root against whatever team I'd be rooting for just to mess with me. Just part of the reason she's an ex.
So there you go. So we asked a couple of questions. What would you do the money if you won the lottery? Where would you invest it in sports?
Yes, we did divorce over sports teams.
Yes, I think they did. So there you go.
FS said there's nothing Daniels can do legally to prevent LSU using images or video of him in the LSU uniform. There's also nothing he can do about getting LSU's Heisman Trophy. And then
somebody's giving his team terrible advice.
Terrible advice.
Terrible.
And we've got go Eagles, Eagles game day, chasing Luna Outfitters.
All right. Good deal. Little chasing Luna, sponsor of the Nick Brown Show. We would love to hear from you at 888-993-7762. Now, good news for Jackson, Alabama, Crimson Tide football fans, but not a good news for Alabama as running back A.K. Deer is expected to miss about 6 weeks with an ankle injury in a preseason scrimmage. So that opens it up to all the Crimson Tide running back, true freshman Trayshawn Brown, E.J. Crowell, and Daniel Hill. Hill did lead the Tide in touchdowns last year.
Wait, are you telling me Jackson's got 3 backs in T-Town?
No, only one, but E.J. Crowell, no. They're all over South Carolina. Huge Gamecock team. South Carolina, not Jacksonville State. Max Howell going to join us at 8:30 today. SJ Tui going to join us at 9. Keep those texts rolling in.
FS said he would give money to Northwestern State's
Forkham
athletic
Demons.
department.
There you go.
Yeah, and the student radio station.
I would, if we won the lottery, I would build a locker room in between the baseball and softball fields at Hines Community College in Raymond, Mississippi, and they have a hitting facility that is covered.
Nick,
I would make it
stop.
an indoor facility.
We know that money's going to Thibodeau.
Thibodeau has all the facilities they need, but yes, we'll go to the registrar's office in Thibodeau. That's where it will go. Love to hear from you at 888-993-7762. That is the Origin Bank hotline and text line. I'm going to refill that coffee cup. Max Howell going to join us when we come back. You're listening to the Nick Brown Show on the Nick Brown Show Network. We'll be right back.
Here is your weather forecast from Red Peach Radio. We will be under a heat advisory today all the way through next week, as a matter of fact, with temperatures to be around the century mark. Heat index values today all the way through Wednesday could be between 110 and 115 degrees, so please be careful outside. Overnight lows will remain consistent between 74 and 76 degrees around our area. The biggest thing to remember right now is this will probably be the hottest time of the year. Stay safe and don't keep kids, pets, or electronics in those cars.
I'm hashing over an ethical dilemma, so I think I could use some black coffee.
Of course, you can get black coffee and all your favorite coffee beverages at the Depot Coffee Shop. The Depot Coffee Shop is located at 211 West Railroad Avenue in downtown Ruston. The Depot Coffee Shop is coffee with a cause. The Depot Coffee Shop is open Monday through Thursday from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. and on Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8 to 3. Call in your order at 232-7084 or visit the Depot Coffee Shop.
Okay, so clearly the word is out about Country Pleasin' sausage. Thank you for helping make Country Pleasin' your go-to sausage on game day. From original to jalapeno and cheese, black pepper cheddar, even crawfish and pork, we can't get enough at Sports Talk 97.7, and it seems like you can't either. Check for Country Pleasin' at your local retailer, and for additional flavors, check them out at countrypleasin.com. That's countrypleasin.com.
DraftKings presents a message on responsible gaming.
If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right.
Whatever your wager, sometimes
you got to know when to hold 'em.
There are no locks or sure things, so
know when to fold 'em.
And if you feel like you're ready for a break,
know when to walk away.
Remember, it's more fun when it's for fun.
When the dealing's done.
Well said, man. Well said. At DraftKings, we believe it's more fun when it's for fun, and we want it to stay that way. We provide customers with helpful tools so they can set budgets, limits, and cool-off periods, and we encourage all customers to use these tools. So play responsibly. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction.
Okay, so clearly the word is out about Country Pleasin' sausage. Thank you for helping make Country Pleasin' older than that because he's got cheddar, even for Country Pleasin' at your local retailer, and for additional.
Saturday morning, sports, and the Nick Brown Show. You can't beat it.
Welcome back to the Nick Brown Show, the Nick Brown Show Network. You hear that fight song. We haven't had Max Howell on in quite some time. It is indeed a treat. Max, welcome into the show.
Thank you so much, Nick. I appreciate it. I really do. It's has been a while since I've been through Louisiana, but an old redneck from Alabama, now living in Mississippi. I thank you for the chance.
Well, I will tell you, you look at it, Max, the Troy Trojans probably had the most, not probably, had the most successful season of any, quote, mid-major program. Football team is in a bowl game. Baseball team goes to Omaha. Basketball team, men's basketball goes to an NCAA regional. What is in the water in Troy, Alabama?
Well, I think it's a small town. I was fortunate enough to, I came out of high school, went to Auburn for a year, transferred to Troy, played. Fortunate enough, I got through academically okay, ended up in the Hall of Fame and started my coaching career. First college job was a couple of years after I got out. I went back to Troy. We won the first national championship there. We're going to take a little credit for the guys. And, of course, that's been so long ago, Nick. I hate to say this, but a lot of those guys have passed on since that particular time. I'm the only living coach that that was in that program. But they had great leadership at the top. First of all, Dr. Ralph Adams, that was president when I was going through, was a college roommate of George Wallace at Alabama. Well, consequently, we got all the extra. We were flying to football games in the 60s at that. And They give them a budget. They oversee it at the administrative level, but they let the guys go recruit and coach. And not only football, but baseball's done well. They got the College World Series this year. Basketball's had an outstanding win. Women's sports have done well. And academically, see, here's the thing that most people don't know about Troy. Financially, they've got, I want to say, over 85 branches worldwide on most every Air Force and Naval base, military bases in the world, where they offer courses to guys that are full-time military, and the government pays for it. Well, guess where all that money comes to? It comes back to Troy, Alabama. So financially, they're in way better shape. It's not an advertised thing, but financially, they're in much better shape than most of the smaller schools in this country.
You know what is interesting? Talking with Max Howell, and he is the father, and I'm not going to say grandfather because then you're going to feel bad, but of sports radio. And we're going to get into that because we have a lot of new listeners, and you haven't been on in quite some time. But what is unique about Troy? Troy people are Troy. You're not going to go to Troy and see someone wearing an Auburn shirt at a game. You're not going to see them wearing an Alabama shirt at the game. Now, and we could look at the difference between Troy and UAB, and I'm going to get your opinion on something in just a minute, but that is uniquely Troy. Now, I must tell you, we went back to school this week. You're 33, and we had a little shuffling in the school of where teachers are located. They have gone and moved a teacher from Prattville, Alabama, onto my hall, and she pulls for that. I told her she went to that junior college in the other part of the state because she is a graduate of the University of Alabama. But I've always said that old rednecks don't die. They just move to Prattville. But Prattville is a good sports town in the state of Alabama.
Yeah. Well, it is. Of course, just outside, they get a lava spill over from Montgomery. In fact, I'm going to say it's the residential capital from the state of Alabama, because most all the people try to escape the hustle and bustle of a larger town like Montgomery, the state capital, and all the politics that go with that, and move over to Prattville. That was not true back when I came through. It was the town at that particular time. I graduated from high school in 1958. There were 2,500 people in Prattville, Alabama. Today, there's 40,000 from that small town. The facilities have kept up to some degree, but not to the point I think that a lot of the fans would like to see. They just remodeled the stadium, and I think it seats like 20,000 maybe for a high school stadium. But the fact is there's always been great interest in athletics and academics in the school systems there. And I say I was fortunate enough to come through at a great. We can take their schedule out on timing. They never try to compete with Alabama and Auburn if they're playing at home. In other words, if Alabama's playing in the afternoon, Troy will play at night. If Auburn's playing at night, Troy's going to play in the afternoon. And a lot of people never take time because they respect the larger universities, and they know full well that even though Troy's got their hardcore fan base, that stadium seats about 35,000 now. When I was there, it seated about 2,500. I tell you, and we were fortunate enough to get them enough there. But the fact is they've always stepped up to the plate where, really when it mattered, and was able to raise the money to get to make things happen. And I think that.
We mentioned talking with Max Howell this morning, going down rabbit holes. I didn't realize this. He's 87 years old, but he just a who's who of coaches that have made their way.
A guy named Ed to baseball with the Cardinals came back in the fields. The baseball field is actually named after him. He ended up being superintendent of schools and all. So we've had a great lineage coming through for many, many years there. And it was always connected, fortunate enough, to Troy. It's where all the talent, I think, came to Prattville at a particular time.
All right, I'm going to jump in back to it where college football is today. Name, image, likeness. Max Howell has already sent a cease and desist letter to Troy that they should not issue his number to anyone at the Troy football program. But I want to go back. Man, Larry Blakeney was way ahead of his time. Do you remember when he was going to put Wiley Sanders' truck line on the Troy uniform?
Sure, absolutely. Larry and I were good, great friends, and stayed that way. I was jumping around while all the years that he coached there. Of course, I think he went on and he's in the National Hall of Football, National Hall of Fame now. He's at the age now. His health has deteriorated to a point where he doesn't get out very much anymore. But you're right. He the future. I think financially, what programs, the way they had to be built, and through the advertising. But while the Sanders truck line is still running up and down the road, they've expanded now to a plastic company. But they've got over 600 trucks on the road today. That tells you anything about the size of the company. And it's located right there, just outside of the city limits in Troy, Alabama.
You know, it is interesting to talk with Max Howell this morning. The game today, where it is, you've seen it. Of course, you guys had name, image, likeness down at Florida State when you were coaching the Seminoles. No doubt about it. But like where the game is today, Max, is there a compromise or is it just out of control?
Well, I think just like any other movement, it's going to stay out of control till the right people get control of it. I think it's headed that way. I don't think there's any doubt. But Nick, we talked about this 25 years ago. Jackie Sherrill, I had coffee with Jackie one day when I was coaching at Ole Miss. I was on the road and I ran into him. We went and got a cup of coffee, and that topic came up. And he pinpointed. He said it's going to take about 20, 25 years. And he said there's going to be 30, 40 schools pull out and form their own conference and operate on their own rules. And are we not beginning to see that already? I mean, that's already the rumors that's going to happen. We had to go. Eligible to
all over the place because of the stream and Facebook and YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. This is interesting, Max. You mentioned that about academic eligibility. I do want to share one funny story with you. You're right. A player can go from school A, B, C, and D, and you never hear about eligibility. Our son, my wife and I's middle child, is playing college baseball at Nicholls State. You can see I have the Colonel's shirt on this morning. Division I school in the Southland Conference. Well, he wanted to be a nurse, and I was excited. Hey, he could take care of mom and dad in our older years. And so he went to Louisiana Tech and redshirted, and then made his way to Raymond, Mississippi. And I talked about if I won the lottery that I would build a locker room for the softball and baseball team in Raymond and enclose their hitting cage. He went to Nicholls. We were actually playing golf, and he hands me his cell phone. You know, like that's what you do now. You really don't explain anything. You just hand Dad the cell phone, and you read it. And it was the academic advisor from Nicholls State saying, RJ, I have some bad news for you. Due to you not having 70 hours towards the nursing degree, the NCAA has ruled you will be academically ineligible. Now, Max, he's got a 3.96 GPA.
Wow.
Okay, so he's gone to Louisiana Tech where he did well, and Hines Community College in Raymond where he did well, but he's going to be ineligible because he doesn't have the 70 hours towards a nursing degree. And I told him, I said, son, you are a unicorn because you're the only person in all of college athletics that got a text saying that you would be ineligible with that. But we had a text from a listener that said, hey, your guest this morning, did he coach Emmitt Smith in high school?
Yes, I did. I coached Emmitt Smith, and I was the head coach at Gulf Breeze. Dwight Thomas was the head coach over there who I'd gone to, by the way, a Troy graduate. Had gone to school. He called me one day, said, I just lost my offensive coordinator. This was like in late spring of like 64, 65, I guess. He said, I got a running back. Oh, I said, Coach, you don't have to tell me. I played against you, for 2 years. He said, well, you want to come run my offense? I said, get me an apartment. I'll be there. I moved out that night to go and coach Emmitt.
Where were you living? Where were you living at the time when you moved?
I was the head coach at Gulf Breeze High School, just across the bay, and we played them on a regular basis. I mean, remember, I had Emmett in high school. I had Dion and Leroy Butler in college. And so, I'm fortunate enough. I never did claim to be a smart guy, Nick, but I could read a roster. I can tell you that. And I made an application. I jumped around a lot, but I had a great career, particularly in the win-loss records.
Yeah, I'm jealous. The other thing I would do if I won the lottery, I would buy a condominium on the Fort Pickens side of. Instead, I wouldn't go down Via de Luna. Everyone that goes down Via de Luna gets in trouble with the government. So I would go down Fort Pickens. Via de Luna, you get in trouble. Fort Pickens Road, you're okay. So, Emmett, okay, we know how good he was, but how dominant was? Like, did y'all play pace? You ran all over pace. Who were your opponents back then?
Let me tell you. Well, yeah, no, we played at the top level when we was in Escambia. Emmett's the only kid. You got to remember about Escambia High School in those days. That we had a junior high team, which was a 9th grade team. We had a B team, which was 10th graders. And no 9th or 10th grader could make the varsity. Varsity was made up of 11th and 12th graders all. We had 150 kids out for football every year. I mean, we had a major high school. We're number one in the nation when it was in high school. You got to understand. The guy could carry. When University of Florida took 7 players off that high school team. Of course, it was all revolving around Emmett. And I've told you this story before. Emmett was not hooked on Florida. Emmett wanted to go to Auburn. He was going to break all the rushing records at at Auburn University, and that's been his goal since he was 5-10 years old for whatever reason. But politics got involved. The law school at the University of Florida is named after a local resident in Gulf Breeze, and and Emmett's parents worked for that law firm who owned the bank.
And the hospital, too. I thought the story on the plains was that Emma's mom got a job at the hospital, the dad got a job. And, yeah, it's funny. Here's the thing, though. His parents were great people, and I'll tell you how humble Emmett was. And I told the story before. At SEC Media Days, they put you on a bus and they take you, and I don't know where we were going, just like sheep. I got on the bus. We went to the Hoover Met. We go in, there's this huge line, and I'm like, if you see a huge line, there's got to be something at the end of the line worth standing in line for. And I'm like in line 5 to 10 minutes before somebody said, I said, what are we in line for? Oh, Emmett's at the end of the line. So I waited in line, and when Emmett got there, all I said was, man, I wish Joe Witt could have made you an Auburn Tiger. He stopped the line, and I was that guy. You know what? A lot of people don't like being that guy. I don't mind being that guy.
You relish.
I relish being that guy. He talked to me for 30 minutes. You could hear people cussing in the background. We talked, and then I left the line. I said, hey, he goes, you didn't get a picture, did you? So somewhere there's a picture of Emmett and I together. But, man, what a great guy and so humble, Max. And, man, what a play. Now, Leroy Butler, that's the one that had the pass interference versus Freddie Wagan that wasn't called, correct?
That's very true. And, of course, he went to the Packers. It started 10 years for the Packers. Very, very few people know that. He was a low-key guy. But he was solid, man. He was the other corner. I mean, Dion, because of Dion's athletic ability, he was always the wide side guy. Leroy was the short guy on the short side of the field. Hard nosed, and we used him on the goal line offense as well. The fumble Ruski, we beat Clemson with, that was mainly fumbled. And Leroy ran the ball down to the 2-yard line with 10 seconds to go. We kicked the field goal, won by 3. And that I can just go in and give you all kind of, examples of those kind of guys. Like I said, I was very fortunate in my career. I got a list of players that I was involved with through my career that it'll make. Well, they've already made the Hall of Fame. A lot of them have, not only at the college level but also at the NFL level.
Hey, Max, we got a text in. Somebody just saying they really enjoy, just hearing your conversations and your insights. He said he remembered something from his time as a private pilot. He flew into Troy, and there was a big hangar there filled with old planes, World War II warbirds, etc.
Right.
And it was Willie Sanders' private collection.
Wiley
Sanders' private collection.
Yeah.
So you got some insight on that?
Wallace Sanders had the trucking. That was a trucking business.
Okay.
The plastics company was with another group. They have now merged. They run. The last I counted on here, I think they've got active over 600 trucks, 18 wheelers on the road at all times. But that plant is big as you drive by an automobile manufacturing. You see a half-mile building up. Wallace Sanders trucking line is just that big now. I mean, they're absolutely huge. And Wallace Sanders has passed away, but that's the way he started. He was a big collector and survey. I mean, he was on the board of trustees at Troy. Gave anytime anybody needed money for whatever, he just write a check for it. And now his daughter is now the current president of actually the conglomerate that was the plastics company and Wallace Sanders Trucking.
All right, a lot of great coaches have rolled through Troy. Get your opinion. Max Howell, the father of sports radio out of Atlanta, Georgia, now living in Mississippi, joining us on the Nick Brown Show this morning. John Sumrall, will he be successful at the University of Florida, or will it be Billy Napier 2.0?
No, he's way beyond that. I got to know he was at Troy just a short period of time, but I think he lost 2 ball games while he was there. Went on to Tulane, had a great career there. He ended up, and I got involved indirectly when that negotiation was going on between Lane Kiffin and Florida, and of course that was before LSU really got involved. And I've made the comment. I've been on several talk shows in Gainesville when I was asked the same question. They got the best deal for Florida. Lane's a great football coach, and he's going to do great things at LSU. And I can't wait till September 19th. I think that's going to be a huge. Since I coached at Ole Miss, I think it's going to be a huge ball game. But the fact is, John Sumrall will build that program in John Sumrall's mold, and he's been successful everywhere he's been. He played at Kentucky. Did not play his senior year. If you recall his history, had a chipped vertebrae in his neck, but they asked him to stay on as an assistant coach, and he did that and finished his degree there. And then he got into the coaching world, and he'd only lost 4 football games in his coaching industry when he took the job at Florida. So I mean, he's got a track record already, and it's all about discipline. It's all about yes sir and no sir and what I do next. And those that can't handle that, they'll be gone. I can promise you that.
Absolutely. Talking with Max Howell this morning, inside on all of college football. Coaching Mike Norvell. Is this the last stand?
I was able to coach Bowden, thank goodness, and he had a different setup for there. It was the fact is that they didn't have a big chunk of money that was organized and handled by a few folks. It was individuals. In other words, we signed a kid. They get basically a contract with an alumni that took care of the outside stuff that had to be taken care of that the scholarship didn't take care of. And that was the way the program floated along for years. Then, of course, they probably know the story that he wanted another year or two, and the administrator pushed him out and hired Jimbo Fisher, who was already on the staff there. And of course, Jimbo won a national championship. We understand that.
Yeah, with a quarterback that shouldn't have been playing.
And they never wanted to even not even want to go to Florida State. Florida State wasn't even on his list, I'll tell you the truth. But the fact is that other things got involved, and he ended up at Florida State. And he won a national championship with him. But the fact is I think Norvell, coming out of Memphis when they hired him, I think, had everything going. A couple of years before, he just had an undefeated season in that league, but he did not make the playoffs, if you recall. That money couldn't get. I think it's going to take 10 wins to keep him. I'll be honest. If he drops down to 5 or 6 wins or 7 wins, I think they'll make a change.
Well, Max, as always, we enjoy it. We're going to keep you on. We're going to have you come on during the season. It was great to hear from you. Appreciate you joining us on the Nick Brown Show. Where can those follow your work?
I'm semi-retired from the radio business.
Semi-retired.
Well, I'm 86 years old, and I work every day. I'm just hooked up with a potential candidate that's I think is going to win the governor's race in the state of Mississippi. I'm on the road full time for him right now, but I'll be available on Saturdays to do talk shows such as that. But right now, I'm just got my eyes headed towards a little politics in this state.
Lieutenant Governor Max Howell has a nice ring to it.
Well, I'm a people's man. You know that.
Commissioner of Tourism.
Yes.
and that's what I love about it. Mississippi's moved up academically and financially. They got 7 data centers under construction in the state right now. Something no other state's got going on at that minute one time. So
Nick Brown Show. You've seen it all, done it all, coached. I guess Billy Brewer was at Ole Miss when he was there.
I remember back in the 80s, early sports. WHBQ out of Memphis became a sports talk radio show, and Max would always was always a guest on that station, and just always had really good insights.
All right, we're going to take a break. Going to refill that coffee cup. You do the same thing. The 8 o'clock hour brought to you by Adala Health PC. That's ADALA, Adala Health. Need to go in and get a CDL physical. They're the place to go. I'm going to refill that coffee cup. You do the same thing. SJ Tui, athletic director for ULM, joins us at 9 o'clock. We'll be right back after this break.
Here is your weather forecast from Red Peach Radio. We will be under a heat advisory today all the way through next week, as a matter of fact, with temperatures to be around the century mark. Heat index values today all the way through Wednesday could be between 110 and 115 degrees, so please be careful outside. Overnight lows will remain consistent between 74 and 76 degrees around our area. The biggest thing to remember right now is this will probably be the hottest time of the year. Stay safe and don't keep kids, pets, or electronics in those cars.
You know what that sound means. It's time for the Pillowy Pluff Delicious Daylight Donut. Go visit them at 108 Monticello Avenue in Ruston, just north of I-20. They're open Monday, 5:30 to 10:30 a.m., Tuesday through Friday, 5:30 to 11:30 a.m., and on Saturday and Sunday from 6 to 12. Daylight Donuts of Ruston, proudly supporting the Nick Brown Show for the last 10 years. Ask for a wedding cake-filled donut. It's a Nick Brown Show favorite.
Hey guys, the gals aren't the only ones that care about their look. Let Adrian Russell or Dara Davis at La Bella Salon give you just the right hairstyle. Need a massage? Mamie Lee is their massage therapist and can work out those sore, tired muscles. Go ahead, schedule an appointment today. Call La Bella Salon 202-5848. La Bella Salon, 105 Rules Drive, next to Skip Russell State Farm in Ruston. What are you waiting for? Now's a great time to give them a call. La Bella Salon, 202-5848. Walk-ins welcome.
Friends, this is Skip Russell, your #1 insurance agent in Ruston for the past 42 years. I want you to know that I would be proud to be your insurance agent. Come by and check out our new lower rates on automobile insurance. Call us at 255-5050 or come by our office at 105 Reynolds Drive in Ruston. That's behind Wendy's and Captain D's. Thank you.
Don't let concerns about current events derail your long-term financial strategy. Hi, I'm Edward Jones, financial advisor Jeremy Hebert, and I'm here to help. We can work together to understand today's financial landscape and make sure you achieve your goals. While you can't control market volatility, you can control your financial future. Let's connect. Start by giving me a call at 318-251-9200.
Member SIPC.
When Brownie buys bourbon, it's at the Keg Package. Operating since 1972, the Keg Package has been serving the Ruston Grambling community for over 50 years. The Hightowers purchased the Keg in 2005 and built a new prime location in 2013 on the Tarbutton exit. They offer a wide variety of hard-to-find beer, wine, and liquor. They also have over 20 flavors of delicious frozen drinks. You can purchase Best Stop Boudin and sausage along with Louisiana Tech steaks. Come experience Divine Wine and the Keg Package.
Thanks for tuning into the Nick Brown Show. On the air, online, and free app.
Welcome back to the Nick Brown Show. You hear the fight song for the Warhawks of ULM, making his debut on the Nick Brown Show. It's Athletic Director S.J. Toohey. S.J., appreciate you joining us today.
Man, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to finally be invited. Like making my debut, like I've been turning you down. That's not the case.
No, your text messages prove otherwise, but the cheer guy did take up for you. You were coming on, but it was inclement weather day, and you were moving a lot of things around. And so we certainly understand, but we're glad we met and talked at Sunbelt Media Days. I will tell you, you've had quite the athletic career. You played college basketball and you played college football. What is your favorite sport, and did S.J. Toohey ever play baseball growing up in Memphis?
Oh, yeah. I would have fancied myself for a baseball player up until probably my senior year of high school. I did the whole baseball circuit, and I think I've said it many times, I think a coach kind of makes the experience for high school athletes, which is for better or for worse. And I had a great high school basketball and football coach, and I didn't have a great high school baseball coach, and I kind of fell in love with it and had a good little basketball run, so kind of made the switch. But no, I was a little too ADD for baseball, but I still loved it.
Well, you know what? I have the same problem. I tell everyone I have ADD, ADHD, HDMI,
all letters,
Blu-ray, every single one of them. So, yes, I can totally relate to that. But
two peas in a pod.
If you had to... that is the producer. We're hiring producers here on the Nick Brown Show. We just fired a guy. So if you know anyone that wants to work from 8 to 10, eat donuts, drink Monsters, they're welcome to apply. Of the two, football and basketball, what is your favorite?
It just depends, man. Like there ain't nothing like college football, in the whole world, and I don't know if there ever will be. It's just it's a different deal. But I get in a gym and especially our gym and fan, like you walk in, it's like an old feeling like gym, man. And there ain't nothing better to do. So seasonally, man, I think in the fall I love college football, and all of a sudden, early February I start thinking, you know what, I'm a basketball guy. I don't know, so I'm glad to have both options. I can't quite pick.
All right, so I think that makes you well-rounded. You coached for a little while, and then you jumped into athletic administration. I think that makes you more well-rounded to be a better AD because of your experiences with multiple sports.
Man, I hope so. And I'll tell you the truth, like there's sports that maybe I wouldn't, count myself as though I knew this growing up as much, like soccer or whatever it may be. But I'd like to compete, whether it's golf, pickleball, squat, whatever you want to play. Like in my head, I think I can beat you. Now, probably, half the people I can't, but like I'm the kind of person who thinks they can. So, I love going out to watch our soccer teams play. I mean, I'll go walk with our golf teams. I travel with them on the road if I have a free weekend. I mean, I want to try to win and support our kids usually. Just about any sport, I can convince myself that that's my favorite sport if I'm at the event.
You look at it, talking with S.J. Toohey, athletic director at ULM, you look at a lot of challenges with the landscape of college athletics. And we see all this about NIL and name, image, likeness, where you're getting money, revenue. It hits a little different when you're at the G5 schools, and you've got to come up with ways to make money. Mm-hmm. But you guys did a great job announcing B1 Bank coming on as a corporate sponsor. That was obviously huge for your athletic department and program.
No doubt. I mean, I think, we looked at some of our biggest opportunities, which are our venues. When we got this job, and between football stadium, St. Francis, and basketball arena being B1 Bank, and they have some crossover assets, but those are huge producers of or could be huge revenue producers. So without really having to do a whole lot, now we got to buy a whole lot of signs, we got to execute a whole lot of stuff, but it wasn't like they had to change the way we operate to finish those. So that's huge for us. We're two great companies in our community, which is also exciting. When you do something like that, you really want to align with a partner who's valued in the community. You don't want to throw whatever brand's going to be controversial up on your highest eyeball asset. So we're really excited for that. I think we have still great opportunities for other corporate sponsors, and we're going to keep pushing that forward as fast as we can.
Yeah, one of our texters wants to know, since B1 Bank is now a sponsor, what are the chances for a B1 Bomber flyover for a football game?
Yeah, I'll say any flyover we can. I don't care how we get there. I don't know that we'll probably stick to a smaller plane maybe than the B1. It seems a little expensive. But look, if the government can pay for it, crap, whoever can fly over.
Look and talk to S.J. Toohey, athletic director at ULM. You look at it now, and Bryant Vincent, he led UAB to a bowl game as an interim when he filled in for Bill Clark, and then not retained by the Blazers, makes his way to ULM. a very good football coach, there are some places, and I will tell you, ULM's been to one bowl game, but it doesn't change your priorities. It's just been a difficult place to win. And hopefully by getting sponsorships, corporate sponsorships, you can limit the power games that you have to face when you're at ULM. It is a different game because when you have a standout year, there's a great chance you're going to lose that player to an SEC or Power 4 program.
Yeah, no doubt. The conversations happening in the G5, rooms are Stebbins role. Do you really want to play this guy these last 3 games a ton? Because some schools will come and take him. I mean, it's stuff that we deal with that, the majority may not. Look, as far as Coach Benson, I think, this team should be exciting. I think it's Signetti when they played Penn State a couple of years ago. They said, you guys never won here. This team's never played here before. So it's a new team every year, which is encouraging. And I think his team's last couple of years, you see him start very well, 5-1, and I think 3-1 to start the season. And we've lacked kind of depth. I think this year they've done a really, really good job retaining a lot of players, adding some depth. And you watch our practice now, and I've been here for 9 months, so I can't speak to it too much. But it just seems like he feels like it's a team that's much more well-rounded and deep and can compete a lot. So I'm excited for him. I think that he loves this place, and if anyone can kind of turn that corner, like you said, it's to him. And I know that is his main goal, and he's fully committed to it. So I look forward to watching it.
Absolutely. I look at it now. You were one that was supporting right down the road, 29 miles. Louisiana Tech joined the Sun Belt Conference. What that means for both programs, and hopefully a packed house when they two meet this year.
And I hope so. And look, I know it's a rivalry, and that matters a lot to everybody here. But rivalries are good. I mean, for college sports, you look at some of the biggest brands, and they're able to play off their rivals. I grew up an Ole Miss fan for the first 17 years of my life or so, and like when Ole Miss would do well, it would make Mississippi State would push them. Well, we need this thing, or we got to do this because they did this, and that's I grew up in that area. Like that economy, man, that was huge when those games would play. So for us with Louisiana Tech, the same thing. I mean, my neighbor, I'm looking out my window right now, a couple houses down, they got a Tech front yard sign, so I custom ordered the largest Amazon season ticket, ULM football front yard sign you can find. And then I went to his house and said, if you can find one bigger than this, you win, okay? Because this is very expensive. It's custom ordered. There's no way you can do it. But that stuff is fun, man. It matters to people in this community, and it's exciting for our student athletes and coaches and fans, and we're pumped.
A couple of things. Number one, that's what has been lacking in the area. For whatever reason, I'm not from here, you're not from here, but now the two teams are going to play, and that's what you want. You want the rivalry. You want the banter that you have with the Egg Bowl or the Iron Bowl. You want to have that. I know there's been some discussion. Will there be have you worked together with the athletic director Ivy at Louisiana Tech of some type of trophy for maybe just not even just for football, but for every sport?
Sure. One I'll say about Ryan Ivy, so it's your Russell show. There's not a whole lot of really good people in college sports, and Ryan Ivy's a really, really good dude. Now I hope they lose a lot when they're playing, especially football this year or whatever we're playing them at. But I mean, he's a really good one, so he's been great to work with when we can, and most of our IDs in our state have been. So I think we have a press conference Tuesday to announce kind of a corporate sponsorship for our game, and there's some plans surrounding that in terms of activations and trophies and all the good things that come with it. So yes, I mean, I anticipate we will definitely have some sort of, as you'd say, a trophy game, and we're looking forward to rolling it out with a really good corporate partner. And then just like you said, adds to the rivalry, ways to track it and make it more exciting and brand it and put it in front of people.
All right, I'm going to ask you a question. You mentioned that everyone in your family went to Ole Miss but you. Why didn't you take the easy route and just go to Ole Miss where mom and dad went and just be a regular student or maybe even walk on the basketball team, but you chose to follow a different path?
Man, well, I wanted to. I was 3 inches too short, and I don't know, at the time, 10 shades too white. That's where I wanted to play. I couldn't play there. Okay. Man, I loved Ole Miss growing up, and that was their thing, and which is not bad. I mean, it's a great place to go to school and a great place to be. I just really wanted to kind of get away from Memphis at the time, and my brother was playing for the Ravens, and I was being recruited. And I mean, there was a coach that I really took a liking to at the college that I committed to, a guy named Jimmy Passos, who reminded me a lot of my dad's dad. He's kind of an old Irish Catholic basketball coach, and he was Gary Williams' assistant for 20 years at Maryland. And man, like, that's the dude I wanted to play for. And I loved Baltimore. I just wanted to experience something differently. It wasn't a shot at Ole Miss. I thought my opinion was Ole Miss wasn't going anywhere. You know, you could always go back there if you wanted to, and it didn't. It stayed there. I did finish, but man, it's good to have a connection with it. And sometimes, you know, go with that answer, which I like. I just wanted to kind of do my own thing.
Yeah, no, a very, very solid answer on that.
Hey, I got a question. This is as an athletic director, and you know, not asking you to divulge anything about ULM, remove NIL and obviously revenue, all that kind of stuff. And I know y'all have to deal with kids getting pulled away. So just for the average Joes, because that's kind of who our market is.
Hey, you're selling the show.
Yeah, I'm selling the show. Yeah, we're good old guys. We're good old people. We're not the guys sitting up in the boxes. Okay. So what like at a P4 school, what percentage? You know, like if I'm 18, $25,000 is a lot of money. But what for most 18s, let's say, or 19, you know, guys on a football roster at an Ole Miss or an Alabama, what percentage of those kids are really getting significant money? You know, 100,000. What's that?
Both.
Yeah, are getting 100,000 plus.
Yeah, good question. I mean, I think at a P4 level on a football team, you're looking at probably 95% that are making money. You know, you're starting to have walk-ons and, you know, that sort of aspect of it to some extent, probably. And to a $100,000 level, you know, I worked at UCF. I ran the collective there for 2 years as we got started. So I think I have some familiarity. We were obviously coming to a lower end of the P4 at the time, coming into it new. But, I mean, I would say to a $100,000 level at a normal P4 school that probably 50 to 60% could be in that range. Our football team probably, I don't know, 75% or 80% are under, you know, contract for X amount of money, and they may not make, you know, more than you know, X amount. But if they play a certain amount and hit certain benchmarks, you know, there's opportunity for them to do that. So, you know, certainly less year. We obviously still have some traditional walk-ons and, you know, just kids that get scholarships only. But you'd be surprised at the amount that are earning something. I mean, that's across a lot of our sports. Now, the revenue for us isn't as traditional as revenue as maybe at Alabama or LSU. We were saying where teams are playing us to play, well, some of that revenue will go back to the student athletes. So, you know, football will have these events, like a gun event. August 27th, they'll be working the event, and we'll put that in the contract. So the revenue is maybe not traditional as, you know, we have all these millions of dollars. You know, we have to go out and generate that money here.
Question for you. I've often, since you like basketball, I've often thrown this idea out, and you tell me why it wouldn't work. You take your basketball team for 1 year, you become road warriors. The only home games you have are conference games, and you play all the bye games. You're at Oklahoma, you're at Alabama, you're at Mississippi State, you're at Texas, you're at Tennessee, and then you build that bank for 1 year. You call yourselves the road warriors and make bank.
Have you seen our schedule this year?
Yeah, a little bit. So it's you kind of leaning in that direction, aren't you?
I mean, look, I can't. I'd say it's a stupid idea, but then if you look at our schedule, it ain't that far from that. So, you know, we'll see. Look, we hired a new coach. Obviously, our coach who was here when I got here was a really good guy. We didn't quite align eye to eye on some certain things, but so we brought a new guy, and I told these guys I was interviewing, like, I don't care about our out of conference record. Not right now. We're not good enough for that. Like, I want to compete in the conference. And I think the guy we hired, Ryan Cross, really would agree with that. It was, I mean, like, how much do we need to pay the kids to win? And we thought that's where we started. Okay, what do we think wins this league dollar amount wise in terms of what we need? Not the most, but what we can get for what we have. And then we sell a number. It's okay. Well, how do we get that number? Well, here's the amount of games you play. Here's the amount of revenue we can put aside. Let's go build a schedule around that and craft it to a deal where we can get the number we need, the kids we need, and go compete in the conference. And look, next year if they're really good, he'll raise more money, we'll sell more tickets, and then he can play less spot games or whatever. But the point is, he said he needed that to win the conference. Well, how do we get him there? And I think we're playing seven or 8 of those buy, or maybe 7, and a couple that are like Grand Canyon, who is paying to come play. But it's not a traditional buy game, so to speak. So.
Here's the thing: one bid league.
We're a one bid league. We're a one bid league.
Yeah, and it's not going to change. I talked to the commissioner. I said, "What have you got to do to get more than one bid?" He said, "We have to get better." I mean, so yeah,
no doubt.
Really, and I guess your views online. If you look at it right now, and I say this all the time, and people get their feelings hurt. But right now, they're practicing in Monroe. Coach Vincent's leading them. Sonny Cumbie's leading them at Louisiana Tech. The best that you're going to do, I know we talk about James Madison, different with their money, but you look at it, the best you're going to do is a conference championship and a bowl game, usually maybe in Montgomery, Shreveport, New Orleans, wherever it may be. That is the ceiling. You look at it, you're a one-bid league in basketball. Really, it boils down to baseball and softball, the last frontier for G5s on the national stage.
I don't disagree. I mean, basketball, it's hard to say just because of March Madness. It's weird that I've always said this, and I could be wrong. This is my opinion, that college football is the only sport having a great game. Basketball, everyone wants to see the upsets. Baseball, you're cheering for the underdog. It's the weirdest deal with football. Like, people get mad. If James Madison would have beat Oregon, people would have been mad about it. In basketball, that happens, and they celebrated Cinderella story. It's the greatest thing ever. Baseball, we're all cheering for Troy when they go to the College World Series, and it's odd. So I don't know that basketball is dead. I think it's harder based on the rosters now, because you used to be able to kind of flip at least 1 year. We could probably keep that. I'm thinking of like Wichita State had like Ron Baker in that group. You could bring a guy back for another year, and now it's harder. And I think the top end roster gotten so good, but you never know with basketball, man. You win a couple games. I mean, now I was at Oral Roberts with the Sweet 16 there, and it's like, man, like that really, really mattered to that place. Like, I know we say, oh, this is this, like that. That is a university changing month. So I think there's still some opportunity there, and then football is different because it's such a week to week game. It's the only college sport in America. Like, if we went 2-10 this year, which I don't want to do, hopefully, but those 2 wins were La Tech and Lafayette. It mattered to this place, because like we won this region, and it was a week to week deal, and hopefully that's not the case, certainly. So I don't know. I'm optimistic about it. I think it's only what we can be, but I agree on some aspects of it, and some I'm like, I think it's still in an okay spot.
See, I think that's part of your ADD, because I'm the same way. You're an opportunistic realist. People say that's a pessimist, but you're really an opportunistic realist. Now, we're going to come over and do a radio show from the Louisiana Tech ULM game. I would ask you to come on that show with us, but the Preacher Man has already said we're a lower tier show, so I doubt we get you on again. So I'm going to end with 2 – yeah, really. I'm going to end with 2 softball questions for you. One, the best barbecue in Memphis, and 2, you lived in Orlando, and if you tell me you didn't go, I'm going to be disappointed. Your favorite ride at Disney World, you can hit, Magic Kingdom, Epcot, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I want to know the best barbecue and your favorite ride.
Nick, I've done about 1,000 of these interviews in the last, I'll say, year, and that's the Disney question. Finally, I get a good question. I've been waiting for someone to ask a freaking good question. I mean, that's a real question. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's start with Memphis. I'm glad it's a show not on Memphis, because those are like fighting words. It's controversial in Memphis having to pick a barbecue place, but I really Rendezvous is good, very touristy. I never really grew up loving not dry rub. I like dry rub stuff. So Central Barbecue always made more sense to me.
Yes, we're in agreement.
Barbecue. Central is really good, and Germantown Commissary was good, but Central, if I had one night there, I'm going there. And then ride at Disney World. It's hard because it depends on the mood, on if you're like in a classic ride mood or new one. Guardians of the Galaxy, the new one over at Epcot, that's the real deal. I think it's one of the best rides there. But like also just like old school rock and roller coaster. I haven't been to the updated it from Aerosmith. That may kill my.
I'm going in December, so I will let you know. And have you ridden Tron yet?
Have ridden Tron. So my parents live about 3 minutes from Disney World. Okay, so they still live there. It's home to them. So we we frequent. I'm one of those creepy Disney adults that has to go too much. I don't publicly declare it too much. I kind of whisper it to people, but we are the Disney adults.
Well, we try and go. It was going to be every other year, but now it has turned into every year. Senior trip, we went out to Disneyland so they could experience Disneyland. And now I got to ask you another question since we're on Memphis food, okay? So I know your parents own like food places in Memphis, and they might have owned a Dunkin' Donut with Coach Cal. But did you ever go to Gibson's Donuts?
Oh, God, Gibson's Donuts is the real deal now. So from my house to Gibson's Donuts is about 6 minutes. Growing up, and you wonder, like, oh, why can this kid not lose weight playing 3 sports in high school? And I'll tell you why, because it's 6 of them donuts right there. Don't keep the weight on. Like, you're going to be heavy. It don't matter how many sports you play.
So I went into Gibson's, the first time ever in Gibson's. I went in, I was wearing an Auburn shirt, and the lady behind the counter said, War Eagle. And I said, hey, War Eagle back to her. She was going to Auburn as a freshman. I said, my college roommate was from Memphis. He went to Christian Brothers. She goes, well, my uncle went to Christian Brothers and went to Auburn. Turned out my roommate was her uncle. She gave me 2 dozen donuts free.
How good is that? How good is that?
Oh, it was great. I didn't even go watch my son play baseball. I sat in the car and ate donuts the whole time.
Have you? Did you ever try Cozy Corner barbecue behind St. Jude?
Yeah, that's a niche. Like not many people can throw it out there. Yes, I have.
Well, I tell you what. Even though we're a lower tier show.
No, we're the common folks. We're the upper deck people. We're the guys that are out there getting the scalp tickets.
Hey, I appreciate you coming on the show, and we will do this again. Man, have a great weekend, and appreciate you joining us.
Hey, look, I'm Average Joe, too, so anytime you guys want to have me on, I'll be ready. I appreciate you guys.
All right, thank you. That was S.J. Toohey, athletic director at ULM, and certainly that is an interview I like. So Guardians, by the way, RJ's walk-up song came. That was the song we went as a family. Little things you don't know. You talk about sports. We still want to get to those sports questions. If you win the lottery, Preacher Man's going to tell you not to play, but if you donate to the church, it's okay. It's $2.
It's a Snickers bar.
But we were $2.59 for a Snicker bar. You had bought Snickers bar lately. But anyway, that's where the walk-up song came from that he used, because we all rode Guardians together, and it was Conga was his walk-up song.
And hearing Sean Toohey Jr. talk, you feel like he's the guy that'd be in the student section.
S.J. Toohey.
You feel like he would. I'm being formal.
I
feel like he would be in the student section.
If you weren't a preacher, you would be fired, because I'm not sure what that would do for my salvation if you fire a preacher. Tabor, you're solidified. You're safe.
You're over here talking down to our fans, and I'm just saying, I think our listening audience are not sitting in the boxes.
I said we have the most intelligent audience in all of sports radio.
Joes.
You called us a lower tier radio show.
I'm saying we're the radio show for the guy that's not sitting in the box.
Mr. Laryngitis, would you speak up to what you heard?
I'm going to have to side with Nick on this one.
I'm saying we're good guys
How
out
you doing, Froggy?
I'm the fan I'm going to Tennessee Auburn. I'm afraid I'm going to be in the upper deck about 4 from the top.
I've sat in the upper deck.
I'm not going to be on the 40-yard line in a $400 ticket.
It's hard. If they come to Auburn, I'll get Lynn Scarborough to get you tickets.
Nick said speak for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick may be.
All right. I am going to leave here at 9:30 today. This is really neat. At first, and I'm going to tell you 2 things about numbers. We did talk a little bit, Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow. If you won the lottery, how would you invest it sports-wise? I would build the locker room in Raymond, Mississippi, softball and baseball, and I would enclose the hitting cage. I would probably, like everybody asks, would you put your family name on it? Yeah, of course I would. I'd probably put my wife's miniature dachshund's name on the batting cage, because that's where she would run off when we went to the games. But if you look at it, what would you do? And do you watch sports with your spouse? Like Manny and I, we can watch the same game, but we're different. But today, I'm leaving at 9:30. And I think on the surface, you'll say, man, this is crazy. But I believe if you put student athletes into big-time environments, they're prepared when that moment finally comes. The junior high program, 7th and 8th grade team, are on a bus right now, headed to Alexandria, 2 hours away, to scrimmage Zachary's Junior High.
Where are they playing?
At Ash.
Okay.
Alexandria Senior High.
So they just meet halfway?
Halfway. Well, it's a north-south deal today.
Okay.
So a lot of teams will be there. Now, we are playing at 12 noon. I hope I have umbrellas in the back of the Jeep because I'm follically challenged. But I think that is neat. But back to numbers. The other day they come home, and the Cabbage is upset with his number. He said that because you want a single digit. RJ wanted a single digit at Thibodeau. And as soon as he says that, the wife is the grounded one. She starts, you should just be happy you have a uniform. I mean, she's like, and I'm like, wow, that's a little harsh. I was like, I can understand. Why don't you go talk to the coaches? My wife was like, talk to the coaches? What are you? No. And so it ended up with, I said, make 35 your number, in number 5. But numbers are a big deal. Colin, I doubt you played anything in high school other. Did y'all have a lacrosse team at Byrd?
Yes.
Are there numbers on lacrosse uniforms?
Yes.
What number were you?
23.
Jordan.
All right. No, it was not for Michael Jordan. That's a story for when I have a voice.
All right. Did you play any other sports?
Growing up?
No. Yeah. Well, okay. So you played
every sport I've ever played. I wore 23.
Okay. We'll hear that story when you have a voice. You played for Mackenzie High School. Were you a tight end?
Yes, sadly.
The bow-legged tight end. Did you catch any touchdowns?
Yeah, caught a few. We didn't throw the ball much. I played during high school during that time when.
Well, we ran the outside veer.
We ran the veer. You played teams that ran the I or the T. I mean, coaches just like.
What number were you?
I was 81.
I was 87.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that your PIN number on your debit card, 8181?
No, it's not.
You find the debit card. But numbers, how important? Did you play any other sport?
I shouldn't have played basketball, but I did.
I wore in baseball.
I had a good time.
Okay.
But...
In Little League, I wore number 1. Jackson, Alabama, you kept the same jersey for 4 years, so it didn't fit my 4th year. I was on the losing Lions for 4 years. But in high school and Dixie League, now called Diamond League, it's about time they changed the name, I wore number 3 for Dale Murphy of the Atlanta Braves.
We wouldn't have this controversy at LSU if they would just let them have decibel points. Then the picket
decimal,
could be
not decibel.
And the picket could be 5.25 or something, and everybody could have number 5.
The views of the Preacher Man do not represent anyone associated with the Nick Brown Show or Red Peach Radio.
You just keep using it, 5.1.
No, we're going to take a break. I am going to leave. I'm going to leave the show in the hands of a guy that can't make a complete thought this morning and one that can't make a complete sentence. Tabor, it is all up to you to run this show.
We're going to talk a lot of soccer then, Tabor.
All right, you're listening to The Nick Brown Show, the Nick Brown Show Network. We'll be right back after this break.
Friends, this is Skip Russell, your #1 insurance agent in Ruston for the past 42 years. I want you to know that I would be proud to be your insurance agent. Come by and check out our new lower rates on automobile insurance. Call us at 255-5050 or come by our office at 105 Reynolds Drive in Ruston. That's behind Wendy's and Captain D's. Thank you.
Has your yard work and summer fun already put your back and neck in a bind? Bending, lifting, twisting puts additional tension and pressure on your back and neck. Once your muscles and nerves become inflamed, you start to feel the pain and stiffness, and no matter how many over-the-counter medications you take, it just won't go away. Well, it's time to call Dr. Bob Rendina at Chiro Network in Ruston. Chiropractic treatments work to get your back and neck working properly again. Play it smart. Stretch before and after. And when you need a chiropractor, call Dr. Bob Rendina at Chiro Network in Ruston.
Wednesday nights got a lot more interesting, BC.
They sure did. I'm Ben Carlisle, owner and publisher, BleedTechBlue.com.
I'm Nick Brown, and together we're Bleed Tech Blue Radio.
Wednesday nights, 6 to 7:30, right here on Sports Talk 97.7 FM.
We're talking everything Louisiana Tech athletics.
Exclusive interviews you're not getting anywhere else.
And honestly, some of the best entertainment on the dial.
Tune in and see for yourself.
Bleed Tech Blue Radio, Wednesday nights, 6 to 7:30, only on Sports Talk 97.7 FM.
Sexton Animal Health Center in Ruston serves your pet and you, providing high-quality pet health and wellness services to assist your pet in living a longer, happier, and healthier life, and providing you with access to leading-edge products, services, and educational content to enhance the bond with your pet. Sexton Animal Health Center is a full-service veterinary medical
Has anybody texted about the watching sports with your spouse?
About what?
The sports.
Destination for strength, health, and a better you. We've just grown. Enjoy over 15,000 square feet of premium equipment, outdoor training, and live classes. With our exclusive ladies-only area, cryotherapy, red light therapy, massage bed, and tanning, we've taken away every excuse. Locally owned, built for life. Join the family at All Hours Fitness Ruston today.
I'm hashing over an ethical dilemma, so I think I could use some black coffee.
Of course, you can get black coffee and all your favorite coffee beverages at the Depot Coffee Shop. The Depot Coffee Shop is located at 211 West Railroad Avenue in downtown Ruston. The Depot Coffee Shop is coffee with a cause. The Depot Coffee Shop is open Monday through Thursday from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. and on Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8 to 3. Call in your order at 232-7084 or visit the Depot Coffee Shop.
Sports Talk, Southern Style, on the Nick Brown Show.
Hey, we're back on the Nick Brown Show. Nick headed out to watch the Cabbage bust some heads in junior high football, so safe travels to him. So we've got stuck here with me, the Preacher Man, Cheer Guy, and Tabor. So if you got any texts or anything you want to roll in, or any things we can say while Nick's off the air, feel free to call in. Tell you what, after just hearing, we're going to talk about a couple things. Like, one is just hearing that fight song by Southern Cal, which is a great fight song. Whether you were band, cheer, or whatever, I think we all got to admit at big sporting events, the cheer squads, the spirit squads add a lot to it. So when you think of 2 or 3 or 4 places that you just think knock it out of the park, they get the fans into it, do a great job with it. What comes to your mind?
Let's see. So we'll start with a very hot take because a lot of people do not like it. A&M yell leaders.
Yeah.
People can say what they want. The stuff they do, it's crazy. It's silly. But I'll tell you what,
it's cool.
But no fan base gets involved with a spirit group the same way that they do.
Yeah, it was impressive. We went to the A&M game, and just the way it is kind of cheesy. I can't imagine wanting to be one of those yell leaders, but the way that crowd gets into, 80% of that stadium minus the visitor section, they're swaying back and forth. They're doing the chairs.
Before?
Yes.
Does the stadium literally, does it shake?
When they put their arms around each other and sing that, whatever it sounds like, Go Tell Ain't Rhodey, I don't know what they're singing, but that's what it sounds like. And they start swaying, it feels like the stadium swaying, whether it is or not. And then their band is top level.
Oh, it's top notch.
I would say they have one of the best game day atmospheres when everything's going.
Yeah.
A few other places.
They do. It's like, because you got kids there. But they do. They do. If you go to LSU, the fans are in it. The band, I love how the band plays and gets when SEC schools have that big brass section that plays and gets the fans into it. That's one of the things when Tech played Northwestern a few years ago. Sadly, it didn't end well, but it was a great environment. There was probably 25,000 people there, both schools, bands going back and forth, so it was kind of a little bit of an SEC feel to it, and it made it a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. Pretty much every SEC school is going to have good spirit programs for the most part. I'm trying to think of a few not SEC.
Years ago, this was back in Pat Summit was at Tennessee. and Louisiana Tech was there. The Lady Vols were there, so we went because, like I said, it was a big deal back then, and that was only like 45 minutes away. But Louisiana Tech brought their spirit band, and that was one of the most fun.
Okay, yeah, I was just
spirit
about to say
bands,
that
like in basketball and stuff that they do.
I know. I've seen a lot of basketball bands just. They're one of the best, and it's not necessarily just the quality of what they're playing, but they get into the game, and they have traditions that go from free throw to when the team has a certain amount of points to everything else, and they are a fantastic basketball band.
Yeah, everybody else, even like Tennessee's pep, was kind of like they were more serious and stuff. And then
That's
Tech
the
was
best
just
part.
out
They don't-
having
yeah.
fun. They were out having fun.
Tech's band just doesn't take themselves seriously. Actually, funny story. Let's see. This was my, I think, freshman year at Louisiana Tech. So we were still, I guess we would have still been in the WAC at that point. Yeah. And the basketball tournament was in Las Vegas, playing in a girls', I think, opening round game. And the hoop troop was just letting one of the opposing players have it. And I don't even remember what it was about. The officials stopped the game, came over to the cheer and band section, and said that if anybody over there said one more thing that they took negative, they were going to kick us out for the rest of the tournament. Like, how many times do you see a band, especially because it was the band leading the charge on this? I'm going to give them the credit. How often do you see a band get threatened to get kicked out, not for playing at the wrong time, but for annoying the officials with their heckling?
Yeah.
Like, you don't see that very often.
Well, and so I think that's the thing too. If you go to a game day experience, do tell the spirit squads, because they're not getting NIL money. A lot of them are not getting a ton of scholarship money for the hours that they put in. So just tell them that you appreciate it, because it does add to the atmosphere at those things. Okay, the question about what would you do if you won the lottery? A couple of texts here. Ben Carlisle said, I could care less about dance lines, first going back to that, but I have enjoyed the pep band at Northwestern State basketball games.
Yeah, Northwestern, that's another good one. Their pep band is pretty good. And I just like it. Ruston High's pep band at basketball is great.
You like it at first, and then it gets old. But it's like at some of these high school that bring their bands, and they just play nonstop through the whole thing.
Oh,
Now, I will say that gets annoying.
And to me, I don't like it when a band's just trying to be as loud as they can for as long as they can. I like for them to add to the game atmosphere.
Yeah.
And at some point, I think that at some point you have to realize, people paid the money to get in there to watch the football game.
And you can't use artificial noisemakers. I've seen them take them out of the stands,
Yeah.
the student sections, but the band aren't those artificial noisemakers that somebody's blowing through, and yet they can play the whole time.
Funny story with that. So Ruston High going to the Superdome for the past 4 years. First time that we went, they didn't say anything to us. Second, third, and fourth time, at normal games, you cheer with a megaphone a good bit.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to take them into the Superdome.
Huh.
But the band can
play. And you talking about a band in a car? My
Oh,
goodness.
talk about a place that-
300 plus kids.
Talk about a place that it is a party when they walk in until they walk out. And I'm talking while they're walking, it's still a party.
That is a talented band.
But yeah, it's crazy that they can have artificial noisemakers, but then your cheerleaders can't bring in a
I,
megaphone.
And I agree with this comment from FS. He says bands like PA announcers need to know how to pick their spots, because I have seen some really annoying PA announcers with stuff. I've seen some good ones, but I've seen them annoying. I'm not real crazy about the third. I'm like, okay, all right, do it once or twice.
I just don't like
good.
when PA announcers start making almost like calls about the game, and there's another flag.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, you're just here to tell me what happened. You're not here to make an opinion.
Yeah, I was doing the PA for high school basketball, and it would just be introduced, foul, and whatever. But I remember this one game during a school night, and I thought my mic was dead. And our team was playing a team that was bigger and really good, and they were beating us by about 25. It was the fourth quarter. The subs were in, and the whistles would not end. And I remember they called this little touch foul. There's about 3 minutes to go in the game, and I didn't, like I said, didn't realize the mic was on, and I said, please let it end. And he comes over to me and says, hey, son, if you've got comments about this, we can find somebody else to do the PA. And I said, I'd be happy to, because I'm ready to go home like everybody else is. But anyway, yeah, you definitely need to know when to pick your spot. Okay, a few on the if you want it. Ben Carlisle's laughing. He's saying Nick has $1 billion, and his bold thing is he'd go spend $50,000 for Hines Community College. He said that's
and
great.
Slap his
he
name
goes,
on
how
it.
tight is it?
Yeah, and slap his name on it is the best part.
Sig said if he won the Powerball, the school would get an annual $10 million recruiting budget. So definitely supporting his team there. I'm sorry, I just feel like school's got enough money. I'm not giving them. They're asking for enough money on tickets. I'm just gonna go. Things I've never got to do that I'd go do. I'd go to
one of those box fans. No, I feel the same way. I don't think that I would be giving money to a college. Probably some high school programs that, give some money to them that struggle with funding, or even, some local teams that we've been a part of. Just that, you could. I mean, you talked about spirit groups and having a spirit group background and still being involved in that. I mean, you give a high school cheer program $1 million, and they don't have to. Let's be honest. I mean, cheer's expensive, and people talk about cheer being expensive, but when you sit there and do the math on a football game, and you look at their tickets, and let's say that you're charging $12 a ticket, which is pretty reasonable right now, and you've got let's just do the math, and you've got 5,000 fans. I would say that's a safe number. On a regular week, that's $60,000 in profit times 5 games a year. And people wonder, like, well, football gets all this money. No, they make their own money. I mean, essentially they're printing it with tickets every week. Whereas you have your spirit group programs who they're not getting that kind of income. I joke, I mean, $60,000 would pay for our program for a whole year off of one game's ticket sales. So you give these high school spirit groups a little bit of money, and it makes it a lot more affordable and reasonable.
I'm probably giving scholarships to the vocational school.
Yeah,
giving those guys
like that.
$5,000 a year to go to Votex. So.
And then you could also, like you said, you give some money to those programs, and then I'm definitely like, the next World Cup final, like I'm there in a box. Like, you got to ask me twice.
Olympics, I'd love to go to an Olympics.
Oh, the Olympics,
especially the Winter Olympics. I think I'd like to go. Say I don't want any part of the ice skating. But I'd love to see the ski jumps and all that.
Did you follow the Freddie guy during the World Cup? That was the German. So to me, like the next World Cup, I would almost do something like that, like just take off for the whole month of the World Cup and just fully embrace the culture. Where you're at,
to go to a Final Four, and actually, because if I went to a Final Four in one of these stadiums, I'd be up where I'm watching it on the whatever.
You might as well be watching.
Yeah,
on
might as well
TV.
be watching at home, so I could watch down close to the court.
Yeah,
or
Super
whatever.
Bowl, like everything. I'd have to see. I mean, I know you can't buy year tickets to the Super Bowl, but I'd be there every year.
Okay, watching sports with your wife, and I don't know if anybody wants to text in on that. I definitely, I that was one of the things. That was actually the first real date I had with my wife. We had done something earlier, but then I asked her. I said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I'll give you a choice. We can go to a movie, out to eat." And down the road, it was Tennessee Martin, so nothing exciting, but Tennessee Martin said, playing football, what do you want to do? And she said, let's go watch football. So that was like a thumbs up. That was like a sign from God. But she enjoys going to ball games and stuff. Now, sometimes if I start throwing a pillow at the TV, she may get up.
Is it just a pillow?
Yeah. I'm not going to throw anything to break the TV.
Good.
I'm too cheap. But, throws it to the TV like, ugh! But, yeah, but she enjoys watching. So.
Yeah, I mean, my wife and I, we watch sports, and that's one of the things I look forward to every fall is, being able to wake up on a Saturday and watch college football and everything else. And I wouldn't say that necessarily she gets into the games very much, but she enjoys sitting there watching them. She'll even ask me, like, who are we going for in this one or whatever. But And then also, she's from a sports family. Her dad's been a high school head football coach, head baseball coach still. Her brother's a head baseball coach. Sister-in-law is head volleyball coach. So when we go to their games, she gets into it and really follows along with what's going on and enjoys it. But yeah, I mean, we love watching college sports together. We watch more college than anything. I'm not huge on pro sports really on TV. I like going.
Yeah.
But I would rather, if I'm watching on TV, give me the college.
Other than NFL, I probably don't watch a lot, and I don't just watch.
And even
droves of
pro
NFL,
football, I'm a big channel surfer during pro football. Like, I'll bounce back and forth.
Yeah.
College, I'll watch from opening kick to final whistle. But pro football, yeah, I'm a big channel surfer.
So, all right, Tabor, if you find a sugar mama that's got watch sports with you or not, or you don't really care.
I could be okay. Don't hold it over my, okay, you go watch your, serial killer shows or, whatever, you're,
Please not Hallmark.
Hey, whatever. You can even have the living room. I'll take the bedroom TV.
Randy says, I love sports. My wife refuses to watch any sports except figure skating. So at least I get my pick of games in the man cave. So yeah, I get that, because there's things, guys let their wife, hey, I don't like the beach. You and your girls want to go to the beach, so I'll go, or whatever their thing is to do.
Yeah,
and
watch your reality TV.
Yeah, watch that.
You can have the Kardashians.
I'm not going to give.
Let me get the 3 o'clock kickoff.
You don't have to sit beside me and wearing a matching T-shirt and watch it.
No,
you can go watch your sports things. You can even go to games with guys. I don't care. So that's a good deal too. And FS said one of my better accomplishments was teaching an ex-girlfriend so much about baseball that she could talk baseball with guys. She was a big Cubs fan. So. There you go.
And going back to the lottery question, I'm definitely huge man cave would be in the making.
Yeah, I like it where these guys I respect when they're got to kind of be a trend here about building the outside kind of big outside kind of porch with like a fireplace that's there, and they'll have a TV and a grill and stuff. And so, I don't have that, but total respect to the guys that build that.
What do they
goes
call
into the house?
They say like women have the she shed. I would have a he shed.
Yeah.
It would be just a massive. It could just be one of those metal fabricated buildings for all I care.
It's called a man cave there. Cheer guy.
No, a cave. See, when I said a man cave, I think
you want a shed though.
Yeah, I want it to be a separate thing where at the end of the night,
well, you can go in and lock the door.
Well, yeah, at the end of the night, I just roll down the doors. We can have some of those big fans in there and all that stuff. And I can just roll down the door. Hey, maybe you can put a basketball goal in there or something. Get a little pickup game going.
This isn't basement country, but where I was from in Tennessee, a lot of houses had basement, and they did make great man caves.
Oh,
down
yeah.
there. Go downstairs, have a ping pong table,
For sure.
dartboard, and so yeah, that's a lot of fun and definitely something that I want to build. But yeah, this is that kind of we'll be back just in a minute after a commercial. So Tabor appreciates you, paying the bills right here. So we'll be back with the Nick Brown Show without Nick Brown in just a few minutes.
This is Brandon Kraft, General Manager of Homes Plus. We want you to know that we take your overall experience with us very seriously. Whether it's helping you with financing, land work, or just simply making sure you're educated on everything that is ahead of you, this is the real reason of the plus in our name. So come by Highway 165 North in Monroe or visit us at homesplus.com and see why so many in South Arkansas and North Louisiana are choosing Homes Plus.
Get the plus. Homes Plus.
Provision Security, preserving your past, protecting your future. Cameras, doorbell cameras, systems you can control all from your smartphone. Security systems with low monthly monitoring starting at $14.99. Provision Security is more than security. Sound systems, hanging your flat screen TV, speakers in your ceiling, even Wi-Fi systems. Provision Security, 314 East Georgia in Ruston. Call Michael at 773-3703. Check him out on Facebook. Provision Security.
Has your yard work and summer fun already put your back and neck in a bind? Bending, lifting, twisting puts additional tension and pressure on your back and neck. Once your muscles and nerves become inflamed, you start to feel the pain and stiffness.
I'll remember the moment. I'll never forget that moment.
As long as I live.
As long as I live.
A storage tank ruptured, and for miles, chemicals were pushing up against the riverbanks.
This was a big deal, and it was going to have a serious impact on communities up and down the river.
I remember the moment this local guy came up to me and said, "They call the guard out for this stuff?"
You probably thought we were all about hurricanes, tornadoes, fighting Mother Nature.
Hey, it's a chemical spill. It's a disaster.
It affects the water supply, threatens wildlife.
We're talking about the health of entire communities and people's livelihoods.
You bet we're ready for these kinds of things.
We were out there with booms to prevent the spill from expanding.
We're responsible for protecting and monitoring the sensitive wetlands.
I also remember the moment that same guy came up to me and said, "I don't know what we would have done if they hadn't called the guard up."
Learn more about how you can protect your friends, families, neighbors, and the environment. Everything that makes up your community. Go to NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Louisiana National Guard, aired by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters and this station.
A new era of
a starter, but I never read the article.
I think what you kind of want here is
stations, bounce houses, tailgating games, music, food, merch, and more family-friendly fun. The best part, admission is free and open to the public. Come out to Joe IA Stadium Friday, August 21st from 6 to 8 p.m. for the Fall Fan Fest and bark louder.
Get in the game. Now, back to the Nick Brown Show.
All right, we're back to the Nick Brown Show. We got just a couple of minutes here before we sign off. Let me catch up on just a couple.
Hey, but we may have to call it the Preacher Man Show. We got Tennessee rocking in the background, and
yeah, it's been a tough week
Nick's
for us too.
ditched us, so-
Ooh, tough injuries this week, but nobody cares about but me. But anyway, just a couple of a text to catch up on. Ray Baby, I think you are passing this advice on to thought on to FS. Can't imagine why she's an ex-wife if you taught her to talk sports. Just saying. But FS, I think I'm going to highlight one of his this day in sports, 1994. Hard to believe it was that long ago. Nolan Ryan gets his 324th and final victory, 4-1 over the Cleveland Indians.
What'd you say the year was?
1994. Hard to believe it's been over 30 years ago.
Hey, that was my birth year, though.
Man, he was something else. But, yeah, this is that time of year when it's kind of a little bit of dead, getting ready. So do y'all do fantasy to kind of fill the void?
This isn't preseason football. This is fantasy season football. Yeah, I got a couple leagues that, I don't know what it is, but every year we've had the same league for, I think this will be year 8. And we every year end up delaying our draft until like the day before the season starts.
Now, is there a day, is there every league's different, or is there a day you officially have to have everything finalized?
You just have to finalize it before
first official
literally
game.
before kickoff of the first official game. And for some reason, we always end up doing it like the night before. And every year we're like, hey guys, we should be more organized. And next year, let's do it a week or two early. And every year.
Now, do y'all just do family and friends, or do y'all do any of the online ones?
This is online. It's most of them coach football and basketball.
But I mean, is it?
Oh no, this. And then we have a family league that it pops up and goes away. But I'll tell you, and Preacher Man won't love this, but if you don't. When people don't put money into a league, they're not have people on the bench or anything like that.
So what it got to be is like a money cap?
Well, no, I'm talking about like if you don't say like, here, we're all putting $50 into the pool. Yeah. Because if not, like we've had a family league before where people they'll lose their quarterback week 1 and they'll never get another one. And so they play the rest of the season without a quarterback. It's like, okay, this isn't fun. Like, hey dad, you got to go in and change your team. And he doesn't do it. And so your cousin who,
Okay, give me 60 seconds. Quick synopsis. Nobody's ever played fantasy football. What do you got to do?
Like, do your draft?
Yeah. What is it like? Okay, I want to get into this, and somebody invites me into my league. Quick 60 seconds. What do you got to do?
I mean, if you're new, I would just probably trust whatever it'll tell you. Like, here, this is who you should pick next.
How many players are you drafting?
Depends on the league. Most leagues, you're gonna have a quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, a tight end, a flex, defense, and kicker.
And then some backups.
And then you'll have backups. Tabor would say get a kicker first, right? Yeah, Tabor's big kicker first. No, don't do that. Go with a skill player, not a quarterback first. You got to get a receiver, running back, because you need more of them. You can get a quarterback. And at the end of the day, like, once you get to the NFL, yeah, you have those premier quarterbacks. But
you're looking for a stats guy more than a wins and losses.
Yes, you don't. At the end of the day, you don't care if they win or lose.
You just want stats.
You just want their stats. Like, if Joe Burrow goes 30 for 34, has 5 touchdowns, and 500 yards and a loss, who cares?
Now, on defense, you just pick a defense.
Defense, you want to get somebody that they're.
You do individuals or just a defense?
A whole team defense, and you get points based off of how few of points they allow, how few of yards, turnovers, everything like that.
So, like, I'm picking the New Orleans Saints defense. I'm not picking individuals.
Correct. And you want just like basically a ball hawk defense because you get the most points for turnovers and stuff. So you want to do that, and then
you can add players during the year.
Yeah, and you can trade. Like, you can set up a trade. You can, in the league that we've had going for a while, you can trade, like, I want to trade my quarterback and next year's 3rd round pick for your running back.
And can you pick up somebody that wasn't drafted by anybody?
Yep. There's free agents. Okay. It has a waiver period. It's kind of like, it's essentially kind of like pro football. There's a trade deadline.
And I've heard that has increased. There's more and more people that don't watch an entire game, but they do like the NFL Red Zone where they're just kind of keeping up with a lot of games. But it creates interest in a game that may be out of hand because I'm still trying to get stats.
Get your keepers if you have a league that carries over. So in our league, you get to claim 2 players that don't go back into the draft. You get to keep them. So,
all right. So there you go, Nick Brown, people. If you want to get involved in fantasy football, there is a little bit of insight on it. And FS, he says, in one league, we draft the night before the Thursday night game, and another we draft the Saturday before. And like I say, there's a little bit of cash you put in more for fun, and then whoever the winner is gets it. But hey, guys, we thank you guys for listening to the Nick Brown Show. We pray for safety travels as Nick heads down to Alexandria, and go Bear Kits. Thanks to the cheer guy. Thanks for Tabor for producing. But most of all, thank you guys for listening, for texting, for calling, and being loyal, smartest. What is it Nick says? The smartest
audience in sports radio.
Sports radio. So thank you guys for listening in. Have a